Hey Bubbah, this is MHRoss22. How you doing? I'm responding to your Christianity Debunked, and you have a really good question, and it reminds me of back on my olden days at high school and junior high. Can God create a taco so hot, so spicy, that He Himself cannot even eat it? Of course, yours is a little bit more intricate than that. But it's along the same lines, and so it's everyone that watches this video and doesn't go to your video. Quickly sum it up. You pose a question: if God is all powerful and all knowing, can He have the ability to create a riddle so difficult that He can't even figure it out? And if He can, then He isn't all powerful, and if He can't, then He isn't all knowing. And so they conflict with each other, and it's a direct contradiction. Now, I think what you have to do at this, what you have to look at, what you're presenting us, is the Bible does clearly state that He is all-powerful and all-knowing. Now, specifically going to all-knowing, I believe that the Bible says that He is all-knowing to things that are to be known. So, for example, He knows how many hairs are on your head, how much pounds in the water there is in the ocean. He knows how heavy this pen is. He knows what I'm thinking, what you're thinking. He knows what's to be known, and how old you are, when you'll die, when you've lived, or when you were born. Those type of things, the things that can be known. And now, when it goes to all-powerful, I think what it's mentioning in the Bible, I think Christians kind of agree with this too, is that He can do anything, on this plane that's possible. Nothing's impossible for Him in this plane. So when you pose this question, you're kind of dealing with an interesting way of looking at it, because the way I see it very mathematical. You're applying human logic to an eternal God, and I see God, and most Christians should see God as a state of purity and just almost perfection, in a sense that it just is. Like, God says that I am. He was there before the beginning. He is eternal. He has no beginning, no middle, no end. He was the same today, yesterday, and forever will be. And it's like a lot of people say, well, who created God if He created the universe? Well, no, He just has always been around, and there is no beginning to end to it. So when you directly make this statement, you're working with an infinite question. It's similar to saying God's all powerful and all knowing, or say just in this case all powerful. Can He reach infinity? And to reach infinity, we know that's not possible, because infinity isn't really a place or a thing. It's merely a concept, an idea that we have. Can God stretch out His hand and reach infinity? We know that there is no specific point that we know is infinite, because it just goes on forever, right? So to imply human logic into this question doesn't make sense in terms of God, because it just doesn't make sense, because it's just an impossibility within itself. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It's kind of like saying, can I create a riddle so hard that I can't even figure it out? Well, in order for me to make the riddle, I need to know the answer first. They go hand in hand. And so it's that type of question is in itself contradiction, so it doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like saying, I chew on my toenails 6 times a week, rubber ducks. So that's, I chew on my toenails every 6 weeks, comma, rubber ducks. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And hopefully, that made sense to you, that, just the fact that creating a riddle that He can't understand is just kind of a contradiction. That question is a contradiction in itself to an eternal God. And even to, say, a person, can I create a riddle that's so hard that I can't even figure out? Well, I can't create a riddle if I don't know the answer. So that's an impossibility. How can you go up and go down at the same time? You can't. It's just an impossibility. And hopefully that makes sense. And you know what, you're a better intellectual than I am, and I'm sure you're going to refute me. Hopefully you don't, because you'll probably bring up some good points. But you know what, I'm willing to learn from you if you have something to say that, you know, isn't directly attacking me personally. And I'm willing to learn from a guy like you, because you're obviously smarter than I am. And who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll see a little subscription thing that says MA Trust 22 gets owned or something like that. Anyways, man, thanks so much. Take care.